Welcome to Lighting for Profits.
All light, all light, all light.
Powered by Emery Allen.
Get rid of your excuses.
Your number one source for all things landscape lighting.
That's where the magic can happen. You can really scale a business.
We really had to show up for each other.
From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing.
You're a scaredy cat salesman, Kurt.
We discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
What do you think a hippo has to do with your business, Ryan?
Usually it's some weird childhood thing. Some bully kicked your butt.
I think the key factor here is trust.
Here is your host, Ryan Lee.
All light, all light, all light. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So excited to hang out with you for this next little bit, guys. We got an awesome show lined up for you. I'm Ryan Lee, the host of Lighting for Profits, powered by Emery Allen. And got an awesome show lined up. I'm here in Lehigh, Utah, the Landscape Lighting Secret Studios. So, by the way, guys, did you know this? We are actually, a lot of people don't know this, we're the #1 landscape lighting show in Bozeman, Montana. So, yeah, this is kind of like going international. Like, there's not that many people that have even been to Bozeman, Montana, but somehow, some way, we are the #1 show in Bozeman, Montana. So thank you, Bozeman, for your support. Love this show. If you're looking to start or grow a landscape lighting business, in fact, a holiday lighting business, event lighting, wedding lighting, whatever it is, this is the episode. This is the place to be. We're here to educate. We're here to motivate, to help you dominate. So want to thank you all for your support. Still asking, still pleading for those 5-star reviews on Apple or Spotify, but specifically Apple. I like those ones better. I don't know why. I think it's because on Apple, you can like write something nice. So if you haven't done anything good for someone today, then help a brother out. Go on to Apple right now. And if you gotten value out of the show, which I talk to everybody almost every day. Not everybody. I talk to people every day. And they're like, dude, your show's amazing. Your guests are phenomenal. And I completely agree. We are so blessed. We're so fortunate. Our guests are amazing. Today is no different. We got the one, the only, Mr. Elwood Bakken. I had to ask him, how do you say your last name? Because I knew him as Elwood, and I was like, oh, his name's Bakken. Could have said Bakken. He said some people say bacon. I'm like, no, definitely Bakken or Bakken. So excited to have him on. He's with Action Lighting. And it's crazy because years ago, I mean, just a few years ago, I didn't even know who Action Lighting was. And I've seen them now at trade shows and events and things like that. And gotten to know Elwood. Stick around. You're going to want to get to know this guy. It's like, are you guys like me? Like, do you like to do business with people that you like? Like, you'll just find ways to work with them, right? And Elwood is just this super cool guy from Montana. So if you want to hang out with super cool people from Montana, this is the place to be. So we're gonna talk about Action and what they're doing in the industry and stuff like that. So gonna be a great show. I guess what we'll get into it. I've got a couple things I want to share real quick, but before I do, I want to thank Emery Allen. And I like playing cool music. I can tell Elwood's like me. He's either like semi-hippie or all hippie. I'm not sure, but he jives. He's definitely going to vibe with us today. So listen, guys, a fixture is only as good as the source of light inside it. So this light source is what your customers and future customers will ultimately see at night and will result in thousands of dollars in return business for you, along with glowing referrals. So Emery Allen believes that every lighting professional should have access to a light source engineered from the ground up, dedicated to high performance when you need it most. At the end of the day, it's what's on the inside that counts. So take advantage of Emery Allen's world-class customer service and get a discount, get 10% off your first order. Now, what's cool about their pricing is it's just good in general, and it's even better when you mention Lighting for Profits. So here's what you need to do. Just email tomg@emeryallen.com, tomg@emeryallen.com. Send him an email, say, hey, I heard about you on Lighting for Profits. I want the hookup, and he will get you the hookup, that discounted contractor pricing. So just email tomg@emeryallen.com. All right. By the way, great pricing, but great product, great people. That single source LED is just a super clean LED. All right. So again, just a couple minutes, we're going to have Elwood Bakken on. And I got to tell you, so, I've been doing this show now. We're on episode 100. Geez, I was going to say 150 something, but I'm looking at the screen, 163. Gosh, I'm so grateful to be able to do this. And I'm normally the host, right? But I got invited on a podcast last week, the week before, and it was here in Utah. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like they have like a studio and stuff. I'm like, ooh, this is kind of cool because mine's always, remote. I mean, I'm here, not remote, but the guests are and stuff like that. So I got invited to this studio. Really nice setup. They had the lights, the camera, the audio, just all the stuff. I was like, this is killer. And when I get the details and stuff, when that comes out, I'll be sharing that for sure. But I was a little nervous. I'm used to just like being in the driver's seat. And if you've ever been like not in the driver's seat and someone else is driving, you're like, I'm not sure if they're good at driving. It's nerve wracking. You're nervous, right? And so I was a little nervous, but the show went great. The host was awesome. Did a great job with his interview style, and it was just relaxed and everything. And we finished, and the videographer, the guy that was running the cameras and checking the audio and stuff like that, he was really the only other guy there. And the show ends, and he's like, all right, cut or whatever. And he's like, wow, that was awesome. And, I was like, oh yeah, thanks a lot. And I'm like, he probably says that to everybody, it's kind of like, oh, that you were so good or whatever. He's like, no, I'm serious. Like, that was amazing. We do these every week. That was incredible. And I was like, okay, was he really like, is he really like legit? So I said, oh, what was your biggest takeaway? Kind of like seeing like, was he really paying attention? Like, what did you even listen? And he goes, dude, yeah, I mean, for sure, the belief. And I asked him, what do you mean? Tell me more. And what it was I talked about, when I talk about sales, there's a lot of things that can happen in a sales process to set you up for success. And there's a lot of things that you can do to screw yourself over really fast too. But one of the first things I teach, and one of the first things I do personally, is start with belief. And basically, I said, well, tell me more. What was your favorite part of the belief? Like, what do you mean? He goes, well, you said the question, what is the consequence of your client not moving forward? And he goes, that really struck home with me. And I said, how come? He said, well, because I'm a videographer and I sell to local businesses. And I have so many people that reach out and they want it. They want to get some cool videos. They want to grow their business through video because they know the power of it. And, pictures were like, it used to be about pictures. Now it's about video, especially online and content and everything. And he goes, but then I'll get to the end and then they'll go, well, yeah, I think I'll do it in 6 months. I want to wait. And they're not completely sold. And he goes, you said that. And it's like, what's the consequence of my client not moving forward? Well, to be honest, like they're not going to make as much money as they should. If they wait 6 months, they're losing out on 6 months worth of content, 6 months worth of building value, of building their brand, of building authority. And that's going to cost them tens of thousands of dollars. And he goes, to be honest, like some of them aren't going to last that long. Like they can't afford it because they don't have enough money and they're really hurting. So they were going to invest in videos to help with them market. And now they're not going to have enough money. They're not going to make it. And I was like, dude, that's the real stuff. If you can get real with that and understand that, like, what's the consequence of your client not moving forward with you today? Like a lot of magic can happen behind the scenes. So, I'm weird, guys. I go dark. I go like evil. So like, what's the consequence? Okay. If your homeowner doesn't move forward with you with landscape lighting, well, immediately I go to, well, obviously if they don't get lighting, they're getting murdered. Right. And people are like, okay, relax, dude. It's just lighting. No, of course they're going to get murdered. So think about this for a second. You're going to rob homes this weekend because your business isn't doing as well as it should. And so you go find a neighborhood that's got money, right? And then you go to like, okay, well, those have lights. These ones are dark. I don't really want to murder people. I just want to steal stuff. So I'm going to go to the houses with no lights on because they're not home. And I can just break in and steal stuff. And then I can just sell it on eBay or whatever. Okay. Well, here's the problem. What if that person's home? Then they get murdered because they have to like murder people because they want to steal stuff. This is how my mind thinks. Okay. And so when I think that the consequence of someone not moving forward with landscape lighting is they're going to get murdered, well, naturally, I like people. I don't want them to get murdered. So I'm going to do everything in my power to ensure that they make the right decision. And the right decision is to move forward with me today to get lighting so they don't get burglared and they don't get murdered. Right now, I realize that might be extreme, but like, it is what it is. This guy, and I shared this story on the podcast, by the way. I'm talking like this, and this is why the guy goes, wow, that was incredible. I'm like, wait, you like it when people talk about getting murdered? Like, you're weird, dude. And he's like, no, but seriously, like, what's the consequence of my client not moving forward with me today? They could be homeless. They might not be able to provide for their business, might not be able to provide for their family. And then they're going to eat ramen and be homeless. And I was like, dude, this guy's awesome. This guy's like dark like me. Like he goes there. Right. And the challenge, if the problem is if you don't go dark, then you're like, well, what's the consequence? Well, then, you know, they don't get lighting today and maybe they'll get it in 6 months. And it's like, well, dude, if you don't have conviction, if you don't believe in yourself, in your offering, then why do you expect your clients to believe that? Like, I am so passionate. I am so enthusiastic. I believe that. Like, you can't, you could say that I don't believe it, but like, you feel it, like it comes through. Right. And so I want to challenge you and not just think like, well, what's the consequence? Well, they don't really need lights. Yes, they do. They're going to get burglared. They're going to get murdered. Right. Now, let's say you're not as extreme as me. Take it a step back. Like, what's the realistic one thing that might happen today? Well, they might not go with anybody, right? And then obviously we know what's going to happen there if they don't get lights. But then what if they do go with someone? What if they don't choose you, but they go with someone else? Well, like, are you trying to operate a nonprofit? Like, you are a for-profit business. You need to, you owe it to yourself. You owe it to your family members. You owe it to your team members. You owe it to your community to over-deliver red carpet, white glove experience every single time for your clients, right? And if you're just going to like lay down and let your competition come in and take that job for half the price and provide a crappy service, crappy products, probably not even answer the phone for service and maintenance, like, do you hate people? Like, help them make a right choice. Help them see that you are the path to success, right? So I want you to get fanatic. I want you to get crazy. Like, this is like, you look at all the successful people out there. I mean, you guys think I'm crazy? Dude, I'm like normal compared to crazy. These guys are nuts, and they're successful because of it, because they think differently than most. And they're so passionate about what they do that they can't see another path for people to move forward. Right. So I want you guys to get crazy about sales. I want you to really ask yourself that question. What is the consequence of someone not moving forward with me today? Right. And hopefully you go dark. Hopefully you just go crazy like me. But if not, at a minimum, like, are you really okay with them choosing someone else and then them suffering and getting ripped off by somebody, and then they can't get a fort, and then they can't get a hold of them, and then they got to call you to fix it? Like, do you really want that? Like, build value, show people the path that leads to happiness with lights through you. Right. So I wanted to share that because it was cool. I mean, I was just like riffing and I was going off and telling this stuff. And this guy, like, he's like, dude, you literally just changed my life. And so I want to ask you guys what your beliefs are. What are your false beliefs? Like, your results are directly related to your thoughts and your beliefs. So if you're struggling right now, don't worry about the results. Like, you need to worry about what you're thinking about. Are you thinking every day like, oh man, what if I fail? What if I fail? What if I can't close the deal? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. If you're thinking like, I'm going to succeed, I can't wait to close this job, I can't wait to bless this person's life, then that's just what happens. Okay. So control your thoughts, because you can't control your results. You have to like stick to the process. You have to control your thoughts, beliefs, actions, results. It always goes in that order. So identify some false beliefs right now. Write them down. What are some false beliefs that you have in your head right now? Maybe it's around money. Like, I used to think that there was like this finite amount of money. So if I won, that means someone else wasn't. Like, no, you can win in your economy. You could be a $2 million business and I could start another $2 million business there. Like, everyone can win, right? Or maybe you feel like, you feel bad for charging too much. And that's your own problem. You got to work through. These are false beliefs. Maybe you feel bad because they can't afford it, right? Like, they called you, they want it, they need it. And if you think they just want it, then maybe you should get another business that you think people need, because I'm crazy. I know they need it. I don't think they need it. They need lighting. Okay. We know what the consequence is if they don't have lighting. So we don't want that to happen to people. We want to save as many people as possible. So, maybe you're not confident. Maybe you're just not confident that if you charge a premium price that you can deliver on that solution. So if you're thinking these things, then change your thoughts, change your thought process. And if you feel like you're lying, then don't lie. Like, change your process. Use better products, use a better system, use better, offer better service, answer the phone call more often. Like, you can change who you are, right? So just want to share that with you. Hopefully it helps you. Hopefully it helps you adopt a new mindset that your thoughts control your beliefs control your actions control your results. So that's all I got for you. I think it's time to get to our guest. Let me know if you guys are here live, if you're ready. I know I am. Let's get the music pumping. Maybe. Well, welcome to the show. I'm excited to have you on. It's not often we have we get to meet. You're like a celebrity just because you're from Montana.
Yeah, we're real fortunate here. We're up in Bozeman, Montana. We're only 90 miles from Yellowstone National Park. It's pretty common. In fact, over the last few years, we have bears actually on our property in the fall. 2 years ago, we had bears that were trying to hibernate under one of our storage containers right on the property. So, we're in a town, but it's still pretty wild.
That's awesome. I'm like, man, I love going. The furthest I've been is like West Yellowstone, but like just even going up in that park and stuff like that, it's just different geography. I think everyone needs to visit up there. Maybe we should do a mastermind up there sometime, do an event. I think a lot of people would like it.
That would be great. We have a lot to share up here. We got 4 blue ribbon trout rivers that flow right through this valley. We got great skiing at multiple resorts. Any time of year you visit Montana, there's something to do.
Love it. Well, do me a favor real quick and just introduce yourself. Like, who is Elwood Bakken Bacon?
Well, of course, I'm Elwood. Been in Montana now for 28 years. I've actually worked for this company in multiple times. I worked for them before my daughter was born. So 20 plus years ago, I was working in shipping for the people that started this company, Hugh and Charlotte. I had left for a while and then came back and started working in shipping again, only for a couple of months, and they moved me into sales. And, that was 9 years ago now. I love being in sales. I love talking to all the customers, and I love people. So it's a great place for me to be,
Nice, man. That's awesome. Well, maybe just introduce Action and tell us about what Action does. It's what do you guys do?
Yeah, so we do all kinds of lighting. Like I say, if it's colorful, it blinks, it flashes, anything like that, we do it. So we sell all kinds of amusement lights, carnival lights. So if you have a fair that comes to your town or anything like that, state fair, like in the summer, anything like on a carousel, a Ferris wheel, anything like that, all those lights, they come from us. So we do a lot of amusement carnival lights. We're active in wedding lighting and, of course, Christmas lights, Halloween lights, sign lights, and some of our stuff even gets into movies every now and again.
That's awesome, man. So how are those companies finding you?
Well, long time. We started in 1987, and originally we started importing golf balls, exploding golf balls. That was actually the first thing we imported.
What's an exploding golf ball?
So it's like a gag gift. So like when your buddy's not looking, you're on the tee box and everything, he turns around to do something. You swap his ball out with one of these balls, and basically when he hits it, it just blows up to dust.
Okay.
So
I've seen the ones now that like make a ton of noise or something, but I haven't seen the exploding ones.
Yeah, so these were just basically a pressed powder. They would put powder into a press that looked like a golf ball and just pressed it so hard it would stay together. And then when you'd hit it, it would blow up. Well, he brought a couple containers of those in, and they did so well. The next thing he brought in was fireworks. And then his firework business was doing so well that he was like, I got to keep all my employees around. Like, what could we do in the wintertime when we're not doing fireworks? So one of his friends says, hey, why don't you import some red Christmas lights? And so he did. That next year, he brought in 1 container of red C9s. So this is 87. There's no LEDs. Those old big ceramic ones you used to pop as a kid. Yeah. Brought a whole container of those and then sold it all. The next year, golf balls, fireworks, red light bulbs, and green light bulbs. The rest is history.
That's awesome. Well, you say smash as a kid. I remember installing the incandescents and then taking them down, or you accidentally drop some. It goes like, they're gone.
Pop, 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 pop.
That's pretty cool. So now you guys are, I mean, it's kind of like you have almost any kind of light possible. I see you at some of the shows and things like that. What are you selling mostly then? Is like holiday lighting and event lighting?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of handle a lot of the Christmas around here. I'm kind of the most festive dude here. So I'm talking to all of our installers. I'm kind of heading up that. I'm also working on any kind of new product stuff for Christmas. We're working with, small installers that are just doing residential projects. And of course, bigger guys doing commercial. We work with some of our amusement customers. We're working with them all summer on their ride lights. Most theme parks are now decorating for Halloween and Christmas. So some of those customers just kind of lap over for us. And then every business needs a sign. I mean, it's one of the most important things to have if you're in business. And like they say in the carnival industry, the more flash, the more cash. So when you're set up at a carnival, you're trying to get everybody to buy your funnel cakes. The more blinking and bright and attractive lights you can have on a concession trailer, the more customers are going to come your way.
So how can, most of these people are like holiday lighting, landscape lighting guys. There's some permanent lighting guys. How could they, use some of your services? Like, should they do a sign for like an HOA or a sign for just a residential house, or is it commercial, or like, how could they introduce that into their business model?
You know what? It's actually a great upsell for all of their clientele, not so much in the residential, but if you have some commercial customers and things like that, let's say you go and install some landscape lighting into a shopping area, that has lawns and everything. They want their curb appeal to look really nice. So you guys go in there, put in great landscape lighting that's accenting all the beautiful parts of their property. In a way, those lights will uplift kind of the class the property has. And sometimes once you've done an upgrade like that, some of the other features of the property might not match. So that's a great time to actually maybe approach some of those businesses and saying, hey, if you really enjoyed this upgrading the landscape lighting that we've done around the property, we could also help your business stand out also by upgrading your sign.
And besides sign, what are some other products that you guys have that it might be different than what most people are thinking?
Well, you've seen all the people that like to outline their windows in lights and stuff like that. The different color, the little tape light and the diodes and stuff.
Yep.
We do all of that kind of stuff. We also do patio and cafe lighting. So, if you have any kind of outdoor seating or anything like that, we can help you get that lit to where it's just a perfect ambiance, to where your customers can see what they're doing, but it's not so bright it's ruining their meal or anything like that. All of those things we can do. The other thing we can do, like for casinos and other places like that, we make raceways. So they're basically metal tracks with bulbs every 4 to 6 inches that they outline buildings with and other things like that. So we do tons of those also.
So let's say someone's listening. They're like, man, that sounds great. I'd love to land a casino or an amusement park. Like, how do they even start to approach them?
The first best way to approach them is, to visit the property. You have to be somewhat familiar with what they're doing with their business, but also it's easy to walk around the property because every time I go to an amusement park, I do the same thing. You guys might also driving around, see a landscape lighting, there's a light out or something, or, hey, they could have done that tree a lot better. They used a huge flood instead of a spot or something. So I always think it's really important to visit the property first. Walk the property, walk it in the daytime, walk it in the nighttime. You'd say to me, like, why would you want to walk the property in the daytime? Well, there could be a lot of things they've done in their installation that's incorrect, could look better. or you might have ideas that can save them a lot in labor. Just the way they went and decided to attach it to the building was overkill or something like that. Where
Nice.
it's like, so you can make some great recommendations like that too.
Yeah, like and document it. Get pictures of like the corroded junction boxes and how it's unsafe to have this as a trip hazard and just bad connections. It's grown into trees, whatever it is, right?
Yeah, and I think if you can start smaller, it's going to be really hard to walk up to Six Flags and say, "Hey, I'm your new lighting guy," without anything else under your belt. But you have to realize in a lot of areas, there's carousels that are standalone carousels in shopping malls and things like that. There's a lot of malls now that are putting small rides as entertainment to draw customers. Okay, like the Mall of America in Minnesota would be my greatest example. I mean, they have a complete theme park inside that place. But to go to some place that only has smaller rides or smaller stuff and help them upgrade their ticket window, like that's a great one right there. All ticket windows, they look great when they have that nice border of lights around them. They don't need to be blinking or flashing, but they just set it out and let your customers know this is your first stop as you enter. But maybe step into a smaller customer like that and then scaling your business.
Who do they talk to when it's a property like that?
The first person I would try to talk to is going to be marketing. Marketing a lot of the time holds a lot of those budgets and stuff like that. It's really hard to get a hold of actual electrical supervisors and people like that because when they're on the grounds of the park, they're usually walking around. They usually communicate using walkie-talkies still. So they can be a little hard to get a hold of when the park's open.
Nice. And then my next question is like, let's say they do that. They're like, dude, I don't know. I got nothing else to do. I guess I'll listen to Elwood, this crazy guy from Montana. They go walk the thing. They take some notes. They take some pics. They call the marketing company. They get it. And they're like, holy cow, I got an opportunity. And then they're like, dude, this is bigger than I thought. I thought I was starting small, but they want this and this and this. How can you guys help them and provide them support with coming up with like what lights to use and design and how to make it all work and all that stuff?
Yeah, that's actually what we spend a large part of our day doing. All these rides, they don't have 10 lights on them. We're talking thousands of lights. So it's really important that you use some of our calculators on our website. So we have a max run calculator. So you can figure out, I got 200 bulbs at this amps with this, volts coming in. It'll tell you how many you can run. So that's really important to know. But the other reason you want to call us is we're so familiar with these products that I can recommend a bulb or a type of carnival light that's labor time is significantly shorter than all the other things we carry. Most people just compare costs when they buy stuff. Okay. But cost is only the initial investment. You still have to install it and then possibly maintenance it over time. So there are carnival lights that are more durable. They're more expensive up front, but they're half the labor to install and their durability is going to last that much longer. That's a much better product. So, those are the reasons why you definitely want to reach out to us right away.
I had no idea we were going to be talking about carnival lights.
Right?
What is happening?
Yeah, and that's the beauty of Action Lighting. If I can share a story with you, back a few years ago, Stranger Things, the show on Netflix, on season 3, they're basically at a carnival for most of that season. I'm sitting in the office one day and I get a call and they're like, hey, yeah, we're this movie and we just rented this carnival and we got it all set up and turned it on and the whole carnival's LED. And I said, well, yeah, that's how most carnivals are. They're all LED. And they're like, our show is set in 1980. We can't have LED lights on any of these rides. Can you help us out? And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. I got a warehouse of incandescent carnival rides.
You guys were wondering, like, how are we ever going to offload this stuff?
Totally. So, that was fun. We got to rebulb a whole bunch of rides for them. We got to rebulb a bunch of games and do a bunch of other lights. But it was really fun working with them. And it was just something you never think you get a call today. Like, I need to replace all my LEDs with incans.
I needed to make it look like it's 1984 quick.
Right?
That's awesome. Well, who knows? Maybe someone is going to listen to this and be like, I think I'm going to start a carnival lighting business.
Absolutely. And signs are really easy too. They start really basic. It's a great side hustle, but it starts really basic with just printing vinyl signs, and that slowly evolves. But luckily, a lot of the sign lighting products are all 12 volt. They're all low voltage.
Nice.
Because they're low voltage, you get around most electrical inspections.
That's huge. Yeah,
You
that's
don't
where
need-
my mind was thinking is like, how do we, approach these properties? And like you said, the ticket booth or like a main thing, but then it's like, hey, by the way, like, what are you guys doing for this? And I don't know if you guys know this, but my friend told me, his name's Elwood, that the more flash, the more cash. Like I love the idea of doing like these flashy signs for businesses that you already have relationships with.
Yep. You know what? If I see you this next year, I might have to deliver you one for you. Little
Heck yeah.
landscape lighting secret sign. You know what I
Let's
mean?
go. Dude, I'll have that thing on the front of my property here, my house. Just people will be like, well, we know what that guy does.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It's something I say at trade shows all the time. It's like, do you like your neighbors? Well, if you don't like your neighbors, I have some lights for you.
Yes, I love it. So, all right, commercial, man, we covered carnival. I wanted to make sure we got carnival down. How about events and wedding? There's a lot of people that get asked about this, and then it's like, nah, like I used to get asked all the time. And I'm like, nah, we don't do that, because it was just like outside of my wheelhouse. But now I've met people that like, that's their full-time gig. They just do events and weddings. Tell us about some of those products.
For us, right away when you think events and weddings, everybody just thinks about bistro lights, right?
Right.
Bistro lights from poles, stringing it over the dining area. We actually do a lot of tent lighting. So when I talk about wedding and event lighting, I'm working with a lot of people that rent out the large 60 by 100 canvas tents, the big white pop-up ones.
Yeah, nice.
With walls and all of that. So we actually do a lot of lighting for those companies. So the two main types of lighting we do is going to be a perimeter lighting, which is just basically going around the inside of the tent. And this is a great thing for Christmas light guys to transition into, because it's all the same products we use at Christmas time.
Are those just minis?
White.
And what are you using? Is it minis?
Minis, C9s.
Okay.
But I'm selling, when I sell perimeter lighting to a tent guy, I'm selling a 500-foot roll of C9, 15-inch spacing. The only difference is it's white.
And what are they doing? They're just zip tying it to the.
Yeah, they just go run it around the inside of the perimeter. There's a lot of people use carabiners to attach it, but zip ties, there's a lot of different methods. So, they'll run that around the inside. Some people will use a C9, like a Christmas bulb, like a pointy one. But a lot of people use like a round, bulb with a LED filament in it that looks really good.
Oh, yeah. Is that like the G40? What is it? Something?
G40, G50s. Yep. And all of our lights that we make for wedding and event, are all plastic. None of them break. So they all look like they're glass bulbs and stuff. But when you're taking them down and setting them up, because you're going to constantly do that every weekend, if not every day, if you're really good at it, they won't break. So you don't have to replace them all the time.
Yeah. And it's my understanding most of these people are renting it the first time for what they paid for from you, right?
Yes, absolutely.
They're recouping their expense pretty quick.
It's really easy to do. We have another product that's a wall curtain. So it's an LED curtain that's 10 by 10. If you how they have all those metal poles at the trade shows that, cordon off the booths, they hang all the curtains from it. Well, people just take those. They take the big flat pads and put them down. They make a square and they attach our light curtain to it. And then they put a beautiful cloth veneer over it that kind of hides the lights. And it looks beautiful behind the bride and groom's table. Right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the beauty of it is once you have it attached, when you take it down, you just roll it around that tubing.
Okay.
So you never, ever take it apart again. You rent it as a whole unit like that.
Yep.
So setup time's really easy. Once you've rented it 4 times, the product's paid for itself. After that, it's all profit. Now, how long's summer? I mean, that's 3 months long. You got 12 weeks. If you rent it out once a week, after that first month, it's gravy. You got 2 months of gravy.
Nice. So that's like those are ones. It's just the lights, and you keep it white and do the sheet
Mhm.
to kind of hide it and mask it a little bit.
Yep.
And then, do you guys have like those cool video boards? Or is
We
that
don't
another
have the cool
company?
video boards, but the other thing that we have that I want to let everybody know about, because these are awesome, is we have these tent clamps. So basically, a lot of these tents are going to have a big center pole on them, that's holding up the peak of the tent. Well, we have a clamp that just clamps right on the top of that. And then you put these arms in it with your lights attached. And then you point the lights up into the top of the tent because that's all white. And it's going to smooth out the color and the
That's
brightness.
cool. Yeah.
But it's going to reflect down on the table so everybody can see what they're doing when they're eating dinner.
Nice. Very cool.
We also have those in RGB so you can bring the colors. We also have some gobos. So if you want to bring the dance party to the top of the tent, we can help you do that also.
Love it. And those gobos, can you do like customized designs?
Yeah, we can. Absolutely. We can get logos or bride and groom's names and things like that. We also have, the neon signs that are really popular where it'll be like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. and stuff like that.
Yeah. Love.
Yeah, Yep, love. We can get all that. We also sell the big marquee letters that say love, Mr. and Mrs., the 4-foot high, big metal letters. So, we definitely can deck out a tent for you and make it look great for a wedding.
Dude, you just gave me a ton of ideas. I just need to get a bunch of stuff ordered. We're having our event in like a week. So if you could just get it here by then, that'd be great.
Hey, if it's not big of a rush, I can just drive it down. You know what I mean?
Heck yeah. That's awesome. Well, I always see stuff and I'm like, oh, I need to do that. And then you forget, because I do like those big letters. I'm like, oh, we should have those at our events. And I just always forget. And then neon signs. Oh, we should do that. And oh, we should do the video wall and we should do this or that. So great stuff. Let me ask you, what's your experience like? You're meeting these lots of different contractors around the US. Any common trends you see them struggling with or questions they have as they're trying to break into these new categories?
I do, definitely. When I meet small business owners, there's one thing I realize right away. They usually have a really unique passion or focus, and that's what got them to start the business. Okay. What I see them struggle with after they start it is all of the small hats they have to wear. Like if you start a landscape lighting business, you got to be good with electricity and know how to do the lights, know how to source the lights. But at night, you got to know how to do accounting. You got to know how to do marketing. You're going to have to do a little HR as it grows too.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So, with all of these hats, it also takes your focus as the person with the passion, that's holding that. Like it's like a little nuclear thing running, but that's so important to the business to keep it going and growing. So what we say around here is like, it's so important to just focus on what you do good. So if you have that passion for lighting, focus on that. The other hats, get good people under your roof that are good at those things. Trust them to do that and then let them run.
Dude, I love that.
So
that's actually so well said. I've experienced that. And like I when I experienced it when I was younger, I didn't even know it was happening. But when I was starting this business, I was so excited. Like it's fun starting a business. It sucks building one. So like when you start to go from like starting to building, like I started doing all the hats and I started to become like, I lost my light. I was like, oh, I'm not passionate. And like, it's so empowering when you hire those people to do the things that you're not good at, you don't enjoy doing, because then you get it back and you're like, dude, I'm unstoppable. Like, this is my jam. Like I could go, I don't even have to sleep. As long as I just do this all the time, I'm happy. And so many people that happens to, and you see it, and it's hard to recognize in yourself when it's happening in real time. But I've been more like, I'm more self-aware now than I used to be. And I felt that, and I was like, dude, I gotta get rid of those things, because as soon as you can get rid of them, you get your power back. So that's awesome. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, definitely. And like some of the words you were saying at the beginning of your podcast, I strongly believe in them too. I just say them a little different. Like I like to say like Newton's laws, an object in motion tends to stay in motion. That's how you got to be about your business. That's how you got to be about your passion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest.
Love it. Yeah.
So like you're saying, man, you got to keep that belief, that story, that movie reel you're playing, and you got to keep that passion. But when that passion starts getting burned out because you're getting dragged down by so much, let somebody else do it.
That's awesome, man. It's interesting. I don't know what I was expecting you to say, but I was not expecting you to say that.
Oh, no, it's the number one thing I hear. When I'm talking to small business guys, especially all the ones here in Montana, hey, I started this, I had no idea it would grow into this. And now here I am. I don't know how to do a lot of this stuff. I also don't have the time to sit online and watch all these videos or whatever it is. Let somebody else do it.
Yep. Man, it's so well said. I mean, and it does, that darkness come, it smothers that flame. And before you know it, you're that motion, that object that's not in motion anymore, So yeah, well said, man.
And that totally comes out, that comes out in your confidence, when you're meeting new people, they pick up on that right away. It's that energy you're putting out and all of that. That all just comes from that passion you have about it. I see it in your show when you come on, start talking about landscape lightings. You have that glow. You can tell you're genuine and you're totally into lighting, and that's what I love.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's the object in motion, dude. I can't stop. Like it's just going. Like it's just real. So really good stuff. But before I ask you, I want to ask you about, you got something new you guys launched. You got an offer for our audience today.
Yeah.
Have we covered everything? Is there anything else we need to go over?
Well, actually, what we were just talking about is actually led us to partner with another business. And we've basically started Action Business Services because we're so passionate about what I was just talking about. We want to basically create something so we can take some of those hats off of all those small business owners. So we've partnered with a great accounting firm so they can take care of your books for you. But what I love about them is they'll also analyze your books and help you work on a business strategy.
Nice.
So if you're struggling because you're so busy actually out doing the jobs, these people will help you to make your next decision, to basically possibly cut costs here. Or, hey, you should actually maybe look at your pricing. Your margins aren't as good as they should be and things like that. So, I'm excited about it because, everybody does accounting. But the fact that we can actually add value to that accounting for all of our small business people, and these are already people that are working with us. We have the relationship. The trust is there. Now we can help them in another way. That feels great to me.
That's killer, man. Well, I think, just in talking with you, I think people would be surprised. Like when you start a business, you really feel like you're on your own. And it's like, why would a manufacturer want to help me? And you just don't think like that as well. It's like, well, they want to help you because the more you are successful, the more they are, like from a selfish standpoint. But then just generally because there's actually good people in the world, regardless of what the media wants you to think, right? So like,
oh yeah,
but you feel like you're on your own. And I'm like sitting here listening like, dude, I don't think people realize like how awesome this industry is, that there's a lot of manufacturers, a lot of distributors. You guys are out here willing to bend over backwards. You understand this whole concept of like taking off the hats and doing all this stuff. Like you will take that off of them, and this is a new service for you. But even before this, it's like, dude, bring us your designs, bring us your projects. Let us help you sell it. Let us help you design it. Let us help you, spec which products you're going to use. Like, I don't think people take advantage of those opportunities as much as they even know are available.
Yeah, absolutely. And the number one thing I've always thought about in sales, sales, we're always talking so much, but the most important thing in sales is listening. Because if we can help our customers solve their problems and solve their issues that they're experiencing in their business, we both win. It's the mindset of abundance instead of scarcity. Instead of always thinking that I'm wrong, this can go bad, this won't work out, this guy won't help me. It's no, this is now abundance mindset. If I reach out, they will help me. If I ask for the sale, I'll get the sale. But as long as I continue that mindset that my life will be abundant, then it'll flow.
Sheesh, don't get me started. I could go for 2 hours right now on that.
Well, you know, it's crazy. My wife's from Hawaii. And so she was always like, hey, man,
Why
you
you're
got to
so
get
chill.
the island mindset. You know, it's
Yes.
either abundance or scarcity. There's no in-betweens.
Dude, that makes a lot of sense. I was like, how is Elwood so chill? It's because your wife's from Hawaii. That makes the word, that's of course.
Absolutely. Maui no Kauai. But yeah, we love the islands, try to get there as much as possible. As you can see,
That's
trying to
awesome.
represent the 808 today. Got my Aloha shirt. So yeah, man, always trying to bring some Aloha to the table. You know, it's one thing we really believe being a Montana company, we call it small town business. Whenever we're dealing with people, it's a small town. You know, I might not like the conversation today, but you know what? 3 weeks from now, I might need a favor from you. So we're always going to treat you like you live in our town, in our small little town here in Montana. So
that's pretty cool. Well, I'll tell you, I've never done direct business with you guys, but just I actually feel that that culture, that vibe coming through when I hang out with you at events and stuff like that. It feels like that. That's why I was like, no, this is like this guy. This is like you want to do business with people that you like. You bring great energy. You don't bring, like, some people bring energy, but it's like anxiety. It's like, oh, da, 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 da. You're like, relax.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
okay. Like, you guys just have that about you. So I think whatever you're doing up there in Bozeman, keep it up. It's working.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And, you know, like I said earlier, I think what you said in the beginning of the show is just great advice. Doesn't matter what type of business, actually, what type of even relationship. A lot of these things they can apply in your business life and your personal life also.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it truly is about belief. It's about that abundance mindset. I used to think all sorts of stuff. Well, what if this? What if that? It's like my mindset is so on fire right now. I'm just like, not what if, it's like when if. And it's
Right.
not like, oh, when if it's bad. Like, everything in my life is good. Like, everything. And bad things happen, but it's for a good reason, you know? So it's everything. I could literally, I want to like just do a whole course and like masterclass and coaching program around mindset, because that's where it all starts. And so many people struggle with that, so they can't even get to the strategies, the principles, the plan, because they're just so hung up in their false beliefs and stuff. So good conversation today, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But yeah, be confident, get out there, you can do it. But if you don't try, you'll never do it.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys put together a promo for us, right?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I wanted to thank everybody for tuning in today and watching this podcast or listening to this podcast, however you're seeing it. What I want to do, if you've never done business with Action Lighting, give us a shot, man. Check out our website, actionlighting.com. We're going to offer you 15% off. All right. If you shop online, go ahead, use the code ActionLighting15. Put that in the coupon code. But hey, if you don't have a good memory and you can just remember my name, Elwood, and Action Lighting, just Google us and give me a call. Mention the show. Mention Ryan. I mean, you could probably do that for the next year, and I'm going to give you a discount.
That's awesome.
So, you know, just call us up. Hey, saw you on Lighting for Profits. I know Ryan. You know, Landscape Lighting Secrets is awesome. Ba-da-da. Hey, you're in with me then.
Dude, that's killer. I appreciate that. I mean, yeah, of course you can use the promo code. It's Action Lighting 15. But I'll tell you what, if I'm going to buy something, I'm not using that promo code. I'm calling Elwood. I'm calling you, man. Like, dude, let's chat for a bit and then I'll give you my money. You know, like, I think you have so much to give to the world, and I love what you're doing. I appreciate you guys extending that discount to our listeners. That's incredible. Like, if you're going to buy a product, then go do it. Get with Elwood, get the 15 off. I love it.
Absolutely. And then, you know, like I tell everybody, come up to Bozeman. We got a showroom. Buy a case of lights, you know, might help you on your taxes this next year.
For real. I know. I'm not kidding when I say we need to figure out how to do like an event up there. It would be epic. It's hard to get people. Like, have you noticed there's so many people like in the East Coast, and like everyone's in Florida and North Carolina for some reason, and like they don't want to come to Utah and Montana. But I'm like, dude, we need to. Bozeman's the new mecca of everything. We're going to Bozeman, people.
No, it is. I mean, after that Yellowstone show came out,
yes, that's what we got to tell them.
Geez, we get calls about that all the time. I've actually even sold lights to the show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which was really fun. Like they called and you ever hear of the show? It's like, of course we have. So yeah,
I have like a Yellowstone shirt, not the show Yellowstone, but when I wear that, people are like, "Oh, I love that show," and I'm like, "Cool."
Oh yeah.
Like,
they'll be like, "Do you know the Duttons?" And it's like, of course we do. We see them on Main Street every day.
They're a real family, yeah. So we should that'll be our thing. We'll do that on the marketing page. Like, come meet the Duttons.
Yeah, come by the ranch. So yeah, we'll all be at the ranch. The Action Lighting Ranch. It's the new Yellowstone.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Exclusive. Well, dude, that was awesome. Really appreciate you coming on. Thanks for sharing your wisdom. Sorry for the technical difficulties at the beginning. I actually think I was going to pin it on you, but I actually think it was my problem. So sorry about that.
Hey, no problem. You know, life happens. It's all good. We still got to talk. You know, I just want to thank you so much, Ryan, for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Really appreciated getting the chance to talk about action lighting so everybody knows what we do out there. Can't say thank you enough, man.
Awesome. You're welcome, sir. All right, everybody. Have an awesome week. Have an awesome night, month, whatever you're going to do. Go check out Action Lighting. Again, I don't even know who these guys were a few years ago, and pretty awesome people. So go check them out. Keep moving forward.